So let's say not only do you want to send an email to the hiring manager, but you also want to send something back to the candidate to tell them here's how to prep for your interview, and you also wanted to trigger something in your system to update. You can put multiple different actions at each stage. Hey everyone, welcome into Salesforce for Recruiters. I'm your host as always, Brad Owens, and like you, I spent 15 years in the recruiting world. I was a recruiter, I was a recruiting firm leader, I was a TA leader, and internal recruiting. I was kind of all over the place. And during that time, I was using all the various pieces of technology that we as recruiters typically use. And then I saw Salesforce, and I went, where has this been my whole life? So I've started Salesforce for Recruiters to show you all that I learned about Salesforce and why I think it's the tool that recruiters should have been using all along. So for today, we're going to be talking about boosting your recruiting efficiency using Salesforce. There's a number of different ways that we can do that, but most of what we're going to talk about today is around automation. We're going to use the power of Salesforce and the platform itself to show you what true automation can really mean. Now, what are we talking about when we think automation? We're thinking about automating your business process. We're not talking about sending automated emails when these things happen, which, yes, every system should be able to do that. I'm going to take you more into details of the actual system, automating your business process, automating the work that you have to do, those types of things. We'll get into the basics of sending some emails as well, but mostly I want to show you just the power of everything that's possible inside Salesforce. And we're going to do that by showing you 3 different types of automation in the system. One, we're going to talk about Salesforce flows. That's kind of the base level, runs everything inside Salesforce automation engine. So I'll show you how that works. 2, we're going to talk about sales cadences and this sales engagement tool that we have. Now, when I say sales, just think of it as a blanket statement of reach outs. So this is reach out engagement and automation. They call it cadences inside of Salesforce, and I'll show you what those are. And then 3rd, we're going to talk about ATS actions. So at each stage in your hiring process, you should be able to automate something about your process. So we're going to go into all 3 of those today. And to do that, I'm going to have to share my screen with you. So let me share my screen and we'll walk through flows. So here we are. We're inside our Salesforce system. Now you can understand that we're doing this for demo purposes today. So we are Pacifica Recruiting for today. So what we're working on today is we're going after a new opportunity that we can then fill. So we're going after winning a contract for a new job we can fill. And today it's going to be for a project manager. And what we're doing is we're going through this process. We're learning more as we go, like our job description, our salary, placement fee, all that kind of stuff that we're learning as we go through. But today what we're going to do is we're going to close this opportunity. Now think about what happens when you typically close a new opportunity. So you've won the contract. You now have your recruiters have the ability to work on something and start making money for the company, right? Now, what typically happens is we have to walk down the hall, tell someone more about it. We have to Skype with someone, tell them, hey, I've won this new job. Here's everything you need to know about it. We need to automate that entire process. There's no more emails. There's no more waiting for daily stand-ups. There's none of that. If we win a new opportunity to work on, we want our recruiters to be able to work on that instantly. So I'm going to show you how automation can help that. So here you see we're working through our process and we're going to close this opportunity. So we're going to win it. Now we have the opportunity to work on it. Now, when I close this, I want you to pay attention down here. There's going to be a brand new job created automatically. So now we have a project manager position that we can work on, and that's been assigned to the teams. It's been automated and sent their way. Now, how do we do that? Well, that is with what's called Salesforce flows. So with a flow, what a flow is something that your admins can create for you. And a flow is just like a flow chart. You can think of it like a flow chart, but actually something that automates. It's not just showing you what the process is. It's actually automating something. So let's walk through this flow that actually just created what I showed you. So first, we're doing what's called a record triggered flow. So what happens is we're waiting for a record to be created or updated, which that opportunity we were working on was updated as we won it. So that triggered this flow to happen. Now we need to say, what do we want to have happen? So first, the thing that we did was we created a new job. So we created this new job record, and I can show you kind of what we're doing. So first, we're taking things from this opportunity object, right? So we're taking this opportunity object, we're taking the name field, and we're bringing it from that record, and we're putting it over into the name. We're taking the account field, and we're taking it over, and we're putting it in the account ID. We're taking that hiring manager that we had from the opportunity, and we're moving it over to the job, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. So you can see we take a placement fee and pass it, salary, pass it. So what we're doing is taking all that information, we're passing it into the job automatically. We don't have to wait for our recruiters to do that, to build out a new job or whatever it is. So that's the first step that happens is we're creating that new job. What you didn't see happen is the second part of this automation, is we did send an email, like I mentioned earlier. So what we did is we sent an email with a body that we wrote in this email. We sent it to our demo email address. We could send it to maybe a team or a work queue, whatever we needed to do. And we said, look, here's what happened. We have a new job that was created. And we linked back in the body of this email to that job. So someone's going to get this email, it says a new job's created, click on it, and they're in. They're going to be set, ready to go to work on that new job. And then since the two things that we wanted to have happen at the same time, we create a new job record, and then email our recruiters to let them know they have a new job to work on, are done, we're just going to end it. So that's it. It's just a simple flow chart that we created. We said, all right, once this record is updated, we're going to do this thing. We're going to create this new job. Here's how we're going to create that job, the things that we're going to pass back and forth, and then we're going to send an email. So you see, I didn't have to code anything. There was no coding here. This is all drag and drop tools. And this is Salesforce's own flow builder, which you can see up here. So this is the automation engine built into the back end of Salesforce. It's all clicks, not code, and we're creating automations in our system. So think about the leverage that you can take in your system by being able to create things like automations on your opportunities or on your jobs or whatever it might be. That's what a Salesforce flow can do for you. So for our second type of automation I want to talk about today, I want to talk about Salesforce's own sales engagement tool. Now with sales engagement, what you can do is you can create a cadence that you'd like someone to go through when they're reaching out to prospects. So today I'm still in Pacifica here. I still work for Pacifica, but I'm a recruiter and I've got to reach out to a number of different people. So within sales engagement, you create this idea of a work queue. And what happens is we're going to say we want a specific set of steps to happen. We want you to leave a voicemail first, then we want you to send an email, then we want to try another voicemail, and then we're following up with this last email. And if it doesn't work, then move them to this thing and we'll put them on an email drip campaign or whatever it might be. You can set out that cadence that you want someone to go through, and then you can add people to that. They can be added automatically, or the individual can add them if you need to. So let's say you go out and do a college recruiting event, right? And you find all these different people that you wanted to put in and now engage with them. So what we do is we'd create our own type of cadence. And you can see we've got a couple different steps here. So we're going to modify this cadence so you can see what the steps actually are. And again, we're into another flow chart. So just like you saw before, this is the same type of thing. What we're doing is we're saying on day one, we're going to leave a voicemail. What voicemail are we going to leave? Well, we've got some call scripts in our system and we're going to leave this new prospects one. We can create another call script variant if we want to. Like let's say we wanted to A/B test a new call script or something like that. So it's really, really powerful. You can do a lot of things with this. And then after that first call, we're going to send an email. What email? Well, we've got this email template. And again, you can do A/B testing variants. Like you can get crazy complicated with this, but we'll keep it simple. We'll just say on day one, what we're going to do is we're going to do leave a voicemail. Then we're going to follow up immediately with an email. And then that afternoon, we'll follow back up once more with a phone call just to see if anyone picks up. But if not, we'll just wait till tomorrow. We'll do the same thing again. We'll give them a call. We'll give them another call. And then we'll do our last ditch follow-up. And we'll keep following up, right? So we're just going to have a gigantic cadence. Now, it doesn't just have to be phones and emails. Check this part out. So if after the email, I wanted to do something again, I want to use my LinkedIn license, send a connection request, or send out an InMail. So you can start natively integrating with Salesforce and send out connection requests and InMails. That's all part of this cadence builder inside of sales engagement, inside of Salesforce, so all those different layers. So this is what we're building. We're building up a cadence, and this is all automated, and I'll show you how this actually ends up working. So on my work queue over here, I'll close down this so it's not crazy. So on my work queue as an individual recruiter today, I added a number of different people. This is my same cadence that I wanted to initiate contact with new prospects. So I've got 11 people that are in this, 9 of which I need to leave a voicemail for today. So I'm going to start with Ellen here. And now I can pull up Ellen's contact information. I can see everything we know about her. I can see her resume, all that kind of stuff. But with a single click right here, I'm going to start making my phone calls. And you can see what popped up. First, it gave me a place to take notes on this call, and it gave me my script that I need to go through. Say, hey, I'm this, here's my introduction, here's my interest of like, hey, I see that you were interested in this one thing, or this one job, or whatever it might be. This is just a demo cadence. I'd go through and say, all right, I just left voicemail, I guess. That's fine. And then I'll click save and watch what happens in the background. Ellen was moved off. We immediately were moved to Ethan here, and now I can call Ethan. And with a click, I'm back in calling Ethan. Here's the stuff that we talked about. Save it. And now Ethan's moved off and he's moved to that next step. So you can see that all these things are just automatically happening. So I can call Forrest here, do the exact same kind of thing, blah, 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 and save it. And now Forrest has moved off and he's moved to day 1 emails. So you can see I'm now into the next step of the process. So it'll wait, it'll make sure that we actually have a chance to talk to this person and move them to the next stage. And all this is happening for me because of all the automations we built with that cadence. So that's the really quick way to start automating all your reach outs for your recruiters or your salespeople. It's through this sales engagement tool inside Salesforce, where they can just immediately log in for the day, see their list of people, make all their phone calls and emails. So finally, what I want to talk about now is automating your hiring process. Automating your hiring process using your ATS. So we're going to go back to that last project manager role that we were on. So we know that we won that opportunity for the project manager. Here's that project manager job that's been opened up. And what you can see down here is we have our stages for our ATS. So this is, again, inside our Pacifica environment, inside Salesforce. This is all made possible by the Assemble applicant tracking system. It's asymbl.com. This is the Assemble applicant tracking system inside Salesforce. So what we have here is we have the ability to take individuals from a particular stage that they're in. You can see that I've set up a particular hiring function to say application, internal review, client submittal, interview, and so forth. And you can custom create these stages to be whatever you want, which I'll show you in a second. So today, we really like what we saw in Brian here. So we're going to take Brian and submit him to the client. What you're going to see is an automation pops up. This is an automation that's built into the ATS that says, all right, when you bring them over, I want you to send an email. So it auto-populated all the things from an email. It auto-populates the hiring manager. It pulls in Brian, attaches his resume here, all these things that we wanted to have happen. So that was the automation that was triggered. Now let's say Brian got a positive response from the hiring manager. They want to set up an interview. So I'm going to take Brian, drag him over the interview stage, and look, now I have the ability to schedule an interview right here. It automatically pulled in the hiring manager's name and their schedule if we wanted to do it that way. Let's say we're having this interview next week and it's going to be 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and boom, now we've got all the automations triggered from scheduling an interview. Now, how is all this made possible? Well, inside the Assemble applicant tracking system, there's this idea of ATS templates. And in an ATS template, you can see here are all my different stages. I've got the application, internal review, client submittal, all those other things. But at these stages, each stage can have an automation. So you can see we have an ATS action. And it can have multiple actions for each stage. So let's say not only do you want to send an email to the hiring manager, but you also want to send something back to the candidate to tell them here's how to prep for your interview. And you also wanted to trigger something in your system to update. You can put multiple different actions at each stage. So it's as easy as, like, let's say we needed to add a new stage here. We'll do stage, I don't know, second interview or something like that. We'll just say it happens 90th. So now we have this new second interview that's down here. We can pull that second interview up to where it needs to go. Now that second interview, oops, I wasn't clicked on the right part, has no action. So if we needed to automate something here, all we'd do is we'd add an action. And now we have the ability to select whatever action we wanted. And these go back to the standards emailing. You can notify someone of something inside the system. But remember those flows that we started with where all of those automations are possible? You can call one of those flows from here. So all that back-end Salesforce automation we can call. So let's say we needed to, create an interview event. So that's going to call a flow that will create an interview based on the information that you tell it. And that's as hard as it is to automate your entire hiring process. It's just adding a stage, adding an action just through this button right here, and you're good to go. With simple clicks, I was able to automate something like creating a new job from a one new contract. That was done with Salesforce flows. We're able to also do all of our automated outreach to say, these are the different steps I want my salespeople and my recruiters to take, and here are the people I want them to take them on. So they were sending out voicemails and emails. That was all through Salesforce sales engagement, and that was done with Cadence Builder. And then we showed you how to automate the actions inside your ATS. So if you were dragging candidates from stage to stage, different automations can be triggered based on ATS actions. And that was all built into the Assemble applicant tracking system. It's asymbl.com for you to learn a little bit more about that. But that's all today. It's what I wanted to show you. Salesforce automation. That took my recruiting process to an absolute next level. And it's built in, it's right there inside every single Salesforce environment that you can take advantage of. So if you like that content, there's much, much more at salesforceforrecruiters.com, where I take my 15 years of experience in the recruiting industry, plus my experience working at Salesforce, combining those to help you get what I wish I got sooner, understanding what Salesforce can truly do for your recruiting organization. So again, if you want more content like this, it's salesforceforrecruiters.com. If you've got a specific questions you want me to address, email me. It's hello@bradowens.com. It's hello@bradowens.com. I'll be happy to help any way I possibly can. So again, thank you so much for taking time out to watch this episode of Salesforce for Recruiters. I'll see you on the next one.